Hello and welcome back to another Space Engineers showcase video. In today's video, we're looking at another dropship, and this one is called the Minotaur Interplanetary Dropship 2.1, which is this lovely thing right here. It's a very small, very compact ship featuring absolutely everything you need to get yourself and a few other people's to safety in the event your large ship or base gets blown to pieces. Pressing F10 and finding it in the spawn menu, this thing is 4,394 small blocks, requiring the decorative block number 2 DLC pack. The DLC pack is only for the transparent LCD screens, so if you do not have the DLC pack, then this ship is perfectly functional without it. And we'll give it a little thumbs up like so. And double checking because I thought something was a little bit suspicious, this ship is only actually 914 blocks, so it's a lot smaller than it appears on the workshop page. So with that all done and out of the way, I think it's time to have a quick look around the outside. Then we'll fly around for a bit and send it down to the planet surface to see how it handles. So coming around over to here at the very front, this is what we get. So we've got a very stubby front here, with a landing gear front and center to connect ourselves up to a ship when we're ready to dock. Just below that, we got ourselves a ore detector to find any precious resources we might need when we're stranded on a planet. To the left and the right of that, we got ourselves some rocket launchers with a few little cameras hidden away inside here, being covered up by some window blocks. We've also got some good use of the letter blocks, which are acting like little lights, although they don't actually glow, they just sit there and act pretty. And then to the very left and right of this, we've got two little spotlights to help light up the darkness. You never know when you're going to need it. Just moving up to here and taking a look over here, we've got ourselves our fighter cockpit, and we see how the landing gear has been attached onto that. The left and the right of our cockpit, we've got two little LCD screens, but I'll touch on them a bit later. Then further behind there, we've got some gatling guns to blast our enemies with. If I just come down and start to move around the side here, we're going to see some more detail on here in the form of a little passenger bay, which can open up with the press of that button right there and allow you to get two people inside here to sit on these chairs. They'll be nice and protected while you descend to the planet's surface or just escape from a general explosion. And you can see all the little bits of information about the ship on the LCD screens. You can see all thrusters over here, and it's a very cozy little area. Yes, moving along the side of this, we can see our thrusters, which are atmospheric and hydrogen, and we've got ourselves our little LCD screen showing us the logo of the ship and the name of the ship. So there we go. Moving up here, we can see our hydrogen tank, which is storing all our hydrogen inside it. Why did I say that? And to the left of that, we can see a sneaky programmable block using one of a few scripts, but we'll cover that a bit later. You can see some gyroscopes hidden away in there, and they are very much needed. And we move all the way towards the back. We'll see our main thrust, which is going to be 4 large hydrogen thrusters and 2 small ones to push us around at some great speeds. A connector there to connect up to a base and recharge ourselves up, another landing gear to snap ourselves onto a wall if we want to pretend we're Spider-Man, access to our nuclear reactor in case we need to shove in some more uranium for some emergency power, a camera to help reverse this thing up, along with a spotlight to make sure in case it's a bit dark. We can see our battery right there with an LCD screen on it, and we can see the edges of some hydrogen tanks. If we come up and above this, we're going to see some more little bits of detail in the form of our hydrogen engines, more small hydrogen thrusters, a bunch of parachute hatches. That's probably a bit too many, but then again, you want to make sure you have plenty in case part of your ship gets blown off in combat. And then moving towards the front, we then got our gatling turret, some more uses of the eye block, and towards the front, more parachute hatches, some more transparent LCD screens, and there we are at the very front. If I just come and drop down underneath this thing, all the way down to here, this is what we get. We can see the bottom of our battery, the bottom of a survival kit, some more atmospheric thrusters, there's some medium cargo containers connected up to our conveyor, and then a bunch of atmospheric thrusters all neatly put together, with some more batteries, another landing gear, another camera and spotlight setup, and a connector there just in case you need to connect up via the bottom. And that's just about the outside of this ship. It's a very short and sweet ship. There is a lot going on with it, and a lot has been compacted inside. I still can't believe they managed to get 2 passenger bays inside the ship with everything else that's going on with it, and the fact we've got opening and closing doors is impressive as well. Yes, getting into my character. In fact, we'll hop out of the seat right now and we'll just come across over to here. For our passenger base, we can come to this very handy button and it will open up thanks to a hinge, and now we can get people in and out. We won't be able to close it up from the inside here. We will need to rely on our pilot to close it up for us, so if they're quite forgetful, you might have a very toasty entry to the planet. Yes, looking around here, we've got a fairly good view. We do have a little light inside here, which is just sitting over there. Make sure we're not completely in the dark. And we can see some thrusters. We've got an antenna block right there, and that's going to be the same on the opposite side. But I will just show you right now. So over to here, pressing a button. There we go. All good stuff. And it closes up all nice and neatly. Just getting into the main cockpit and bringing up the HUD. This is what we get. So we've got quite a lot of stuff to go through here. But before we do that, I will just come over to here and show you the scripts this thing is using. So finding our programmable blocks, this is what we get. So we've got ourselves our automatic LCD screen script, which is right here. We then have our PAM, which is our path auto miner. So that's going to go to different coordinates that we set up, so we don't need to fly it ourselves. Coming over to here, we then have our ship layout, which displays the health of our ship. And then over to here, we then have a programmable block for the turret-based radar system. So there we go. Coming back to our tabs, number 1 is going to be for our landing gear to lock or unlock them. Number 2 is going to be for our spotlights, which is going to be at the very front here, which we can turn them on and off as we please. Number 3 is for our cruise controls. If I come like that and press it, our forward-facing thrusters will then turn off, and we can cruise along at whatever speed we are flying and not use up our precious hydrogen. Putting back that on and pressing number 4, we then have a camera to view forwards, and number 5 will also be a camera to view straight forwards. And those are the cameras which are situated right there. Number 6 is going to be for our gatling gun. So pressing that and using our left mouse button, we're going to fire them all straight forwards and deal some nice damage to our enemies. Number 7 is for our rocket launchers, and they'll fire all together like so. Number 8 is for our parachute hatches on the top to manually open and close them. And number 9 is to turn on all the thrusters all the way around this ship. Moving to tab number 2, this is what we get. Number 1 is going to be to view backwards, and we can see our LCD screen right there, just with a little V on it. Moving the through camera all the way around to here, and then pressing number 2, we'll then see the spotlight turn on at the back, so we can now connect up that connector all nicely. And speaking of connectors, number 3 is to lock or unlock it. Number 4 is for the landing gear right there. Number 5 will be for our camera, which sits just below here, with 6, 7 and 8 being the exact same as 2, 3 and 4. We've got our spotlight, our landing gear and connector. Number 9 is a very interesting block, because it's going to turn off all of our power guzzlers, our thrusters, anything that uses fuel and a lot of power, set our batteries into recharge mode, and all that. So if I press that, everything's going to be switched off, and you can see we're slowly falling towards the planet's surface, where we need to come back to tab number 1, press number 9 to turn on our thrusters, and well, hopefully, come on, turn back on. Need to turn them on. There we go. That should save us. A little bit panicky because I don't quite know the buttons too well, but there we go. That will just turn off our thrusters, set our batteries to recharge, and we'll be ready to basically refuel our ship. On tab number 3, this is what we get. So number 1 and 2 is for our cruise control, so we can move forwards, and we won't need to hold forwards ourselves, we'll just glide along like so, with number 2 to slow ourselves down. Number 3 is for our hydrogen thrusters on and off, and that's going to be for the ones down below, so we can press that, and there we go. We'll just rely on our atmospheric thrusters instead of them. Number 4 and number 5 will be to turn on and off all of our thrusters around the ship. So pressing number 5, we'll turn everything off. Pressing number 4, they'll all come back on. Number 6 for our hydrogen engine on and off, 7 for our O2H2 generator, 8 for our hydrogen tank to stockpile on and off, and number 9 for our battery to auto or recharge. On tab number 4, we then got some controls for our reactors on and off in case we need it or not. Number 2 for our projector for an easy recharge in case we damage the ship. 3, 4 and 5 is for our PAM script, where I can press 3 and 4 to move this little arrow up and down. So if I just turn over to there so you can get a better view, there we go. We can go to info, press 5 if we want to press enter, and we can do different things. But yes, I won't touch on that anymore. 8 and 9 are for our doors on the side, so coming around like this and pressing 8 and 9. There we go, we've got manual control to open and close the doors so your passengers don't have to lift a finger. And then on tab number 5, we have nothing else, so it's time to fly this thing around. Moving forwards, this is what we get. We are nice and fast thanks to those 4 large hydrogen thrusters right there. Stopping as well is pretty good considering there's not too many thrusters facing forwards. But we can always do a 180 if we're not too happy with that, and we stop almost instantly. Moving left and moving right were a lot slower than forwards and backwards, but it's not too bad. And then going down and going up were again not too bad. Moving my mouse around, this is what we get. There is next to no weight on this, so we do sort of just float around a little bit, but it's not too bad for this size of ship. With that all done and out of the way, I think it's time just to put on our parachutes and drop all the way down to the surface, where hopefully the parachutes will kick in. They haven't quite yet, they're sort of in a little drag shooty phase, and there we go. So the parachutes do work. There's quite a lot of parachutes coming out of this, and we're now safely onto the ground where we can just turn them off and fly away if we want to. Jettison out our passengers by doing that and just wiggling this around and hope they fall out. Yes, that is pretty much it for the interplanetary dropship. So one final thing to do is to come over to here and slam ourselves into the wall, and that will be that. There we go, that was a lovely crash, and it doesn't appear to have done too much damage. We're coming all the way around like so. There we go. Yeah, it was still perfectly fine. One of the passengers might have died, but never mind, everyone else is fine. But anyway, there'll be a link to the ship in the description below if you do wish to play around with it yourself. I highly recommend you do, because it is a bit of fun to play with. And I'll be back with another video some point soon. Bye bye.